is Reverend Father Anthony Aliakwe Odio, and this is at 43 Media Studio of the Salesians of St. John Bosco, ANN Province, that is Africa, Nigeria, Niger Province. It is yet another episode on the show Vocation, and with me in the studio today is Bonaventure Ifeanyi Ngonu, a Salesian priest, a missionary. So, welcome, Father Bonaventure. I have to congratulate you first and foremost because of your elevation as a priest in a Catholic Church, precisely 21st of October 2023. So, congratulations, please.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome to Nigeria. What is it like to be a priest?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I don't know if it is possible to explain what it is like to be a priest, but in general, it is something beautiful. It is something nice. People do ask me, has anything changed? How did you feel? Is there anything too particular about it? I told them, look at me, I'm still Bona, nothing has changed. But I can only say that things changed within.
Yeah.
During the time the priests were laying their hands on me, and especially when the two palms were oiled,
Yeah.
I began to realize to some extent what it means to be a priest. Even though I cannot comprehend it, but I felt like what it could be, that I am now called at this point to be between God and man, and that what I bless is blessed.
Yeah.
It is an honor, but also a kind of something worth thanking God for.
Your vocation. Can you tell us something about your vocation story?
Oh, interesting. I come from a village that is called Iseke. It's a Eniha local government in Anambra State. After secondary school, or during secondary school already, I was like, I think I'm going to be a priest. But I wasn't sure, what should I do? Should I go to the assistant seminary, or I should join a religious congregation? No way. So I continued my normal secondary school life in a mixed school. After then, it dawned on me that, man, you have to decide for yourself.
Yeah.
Either you study medicine or pharmacy as you had wanted, or you decide something else. I was still in this phase of thinking, sleepless nights, because I was feeling that I could do something else apart from going to university. Providentially, I got in touch with a magazine which is produced by the St. Paul's congregation, the Paulines. So there are a lot of names of congregations and the apostolates. I read a lot of them, Dominicans, a lot. But when I come to the Salesians of Don Bosco, it is written, we are working for and with young people, especially the poor. Immediately I saw this, I was like, that is the one. Why? Because I think as a priest, those days I was thinking it is just more of celebrating mass. And I was like, I would like to be at the service of people. And that's why I wanted to study medicine also, in a way that I can be in touch with people, help people and something like that. So when I read this, I was like, wow, in addition to being a priest, I will be able to work with young people, especially the poor ones. And that was 2007. So immediately I went to the nearest community, Onitsha community then, did the entrance exam. By God's grace, I passed. 2008, I began as parente. 2009, I was in Ondo for pre-novitiate. 2010, 2011, I was in Ghana, Sunyani for novitiate. And then after the first profession, philosophy in about 3 years, then practical training again in Onitsha, where I started 2 years, where I had the opportunity of working in a hostel, teaching in the secondary school, assisting in the youth center, and also...
What is the practical training?
Practical training is what in the normal assistant life is called apostolic work.
Okay.
For us Salesians, we have it 2 years between philosophy and theology studies for those who want to become priests. That means when one is done with philosophical studies, we do the 2 years practical training where we work in a community full-time, no studies, but to dedicate our lives in
practical experience.
Exactly.
With the young people.
Exactly.
So the question is, you're not just a Salesian priest, you are also a Salesian priest who is a missionary. So how did the whole missionary vocation came about?
That's interesting, because normally we do study theology in different countries. Till now we study in Nigeria, either in Kenya or in Italy. There's possibility of studying in Ireland or other places. Then when I was through with the practical training, the superiors asked me, Bona, if I could imagine studying in Austria. It was a kind of shock because I never expected that. Some people have the feeling they want to become missionaries. They write and apply. People like me, I was like, we work here, we die here.
Your land is your mission land.
I was convinced I was called here in Nigeria. So after a lot of moments of prayer, I have to say, talking with my spiritual director, my rector, then I said, okay, if that is what God wills, I will do that. Let me go and try it. Keeping in mind, it's a new language, everything is new. And that's how it started.
How was the process getting to Austria, the whole?
It wasn't funny at all because it took almost more than 9 months to get the visa.
Wow.
And this means 9 months of waiting of what you don't know whether you will get.
Wow.
So then I have to run in from Onitsha to Abuja to get 1 or 2 papers. It wasn't easy. Sometimes some documents were lost.
Oh.
Providentially, they were found again. And the embassy doesn't also do joke with such things. So even they have to send some people who went to verify the documents I provided from schools and other things.
So if you say that you went to so primary school, they will send people there
yes,
to go and verify?
They did. They
wow.
did.
Wow.
And that's why the whole thing took a longer time. At a point, I was like, maybe it's still possible, maybe it's not. Of course, in everything, I was just praying, Lord, let your will be done.
Exactly. I mean, that is the right prayer for anything that the will of God take place. Let it just be that which becomes the priority.
Yeah.
Not my will, but your will. If you are calling me, let your will be done. So that is beautiful. And now in Austria, I mean, you're a Nigerian, as you said, coming from the village. Now you find yourself in a big city, a metropolitan city. How did you get your balance? The food, the people, the culture, the history, all of that. So how were you able to? The language, I know you can speak very well. So how were you able to do that? How were you able to find your balance and enter into the culture, into the reality of Austria?
Yeah, it was also very interesting. In a new place, although they speak English, but in everyday life they speak language. Sometimes also they speak not the pure German, but a bit of dialect. So you have to...
Sorry, the Austrian people speak German.
Exactly. Yeah, generally they speak German the way we have English as major language, official language in Nigeria. But then the German they speak, sometimes they add little dialect to it.
Okay.
So instead of pronouncing some things exactly how it is written, they add some other ones. So one has to listen very well or get used to it. But then I was like a baby. I was just there. I have to be fed. The food, I have to be explained what everything is. I never understood what they meant. I kept on eating. Thank God I didn't have stomach problem. So I was just eating what I don't know. Once they asked me, what did you eat today? I told the fellow, it's like yam. I said, shut up, who gave you yam? It was potato. I thought it was yam because I couldn't differentiate. It's like yam, it's like what? But it was a potato that we ate that day. And the tradition of, you take first of all, you take soup, then so gradually one has to adapt to that.
Yeah.
So, and then the first months and the first 1 year, I had to learn the language, beginning with A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rudiments.
Exactly. before one could start saying, okay, my name is, I'm coming from this, I'm hungry, and also learning then how to. And there are a lot of funny things, missing roads. Almost every day I have to miss my train because I don't know the direction. Or sometimes, most funny ones, for instance, there are in the toilets, they will write ladies and men, or gentlemen. And in German, for the ladies, they will write Damen. And for the men, they will write Herren.
Oh, okay.
So when the first place I entered, I saw Damen and Herren. I was like, there is men in this one. So Damen could be the men. I entered. What did I see? Ladies were coming out. So, and also some things you just say exactly the way it in English. I will translate it in German. I end up getting into problem. They will say,
oh my God.
Brother, you don't say this one. I say, but English you say, So there are these funny things that happened.
But you love the experience. That is the most.
No, I'm laughing over it. Yeah. Those days it was stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was like, God, when will this be over?
Oh.
When will it be over? And then I was like, oh God, this is Europe. You know, because sometimes there's this feeling of, I want to go to Europe, I want to study in Europe. But when I was there, I was like, what is this?
It's never easy. It's never easy because you're entering into a new culture.
Exactly.
Perspective.
Yeah.
People, the way they look at life, different and all of that. So one has to be open to be able to excel in such places. So thank you very much. Now, one last thing I want you to do for us. Words of advice to young converts who are nursing the idea of becoming missionaries and young people in Nigeria who want to go out of Nigeria because of this whole Japa syndrome. Want to leave Nigeria for greener pastures elsewhere. What are your words of advice for them?
First of all, to the conference, it is God who calls. So when one thinks, I think I am called to work somewhere else, go into relationship with God, asking for the grace for it. Sometimes we are sent where we don't know, not even where we could imagine. But what could be of great help is daily to ask for the grace to do the will of God. To keep in mind all other imaginations and plans one had, just to say, here I am, Lord. I'm ready to do your will. With personal imaginations and plans, it brings only disaster and disappointment. Because sometimes you may experience that people don't even like you. They don't want you to be there. You also experience that people love you, but still there are some challenges that will push you at the extreme, that at the end, the only place you can rest is just to go to God, go to the chapel and pray. So the first thing, it is a beautiful thing to be out there. You learn new culture, new people, a lot of things to learn. But what could be in underground energy for it is a good prayer life, good relationship with God. Then for the young people who intend going outside to search for something better, it is a good idea. Of course, if you are working in Europe and you are paid whatever in a month, when you change it to Naira, you have more. It is something beautiful. But it is also better to go through the genuine ways. I've encountered a lot of friends over there who, after 6-7 years, they don't have home. They are still struggling how to cope. I won't go deeper because I'm in contact with some of them and what they are passing through. Then at the end, you just notice, they themselves now say it is better to be in Nigeria. Instead of staying outside 10 years, 15 years, you can't go home. If you manage to go home, you can't come out again. Then it is better look for the right ways to travel. Even if it takes a longer time, but let it be genuine, so that when you go there, you can be meaningful to yourself, to your family, and to the society. You will also be fulfilled. Because at the end, what matters is not just the life you live there, but also what you bring home to your family, to your friends, and everything. So if it's only there, I think maybe the aim of traveling is not yet fulfilled. And in all, dear friends, dear young people, in everything, don't forget God. He is the one who makes things easier and easier, even though we don't believe on that sometimes. But pray that He gives you the right direction. He shows you the way. Don't do something because others are doing. Tell God to show you what He is, what is His plan for you, because He has a plan for each and every one of us. What works for me may not work for you, and also vice versa. All the best.
So, thank you very much, Father
welcome.
Bonaventure. It's a pleasure having you on the show, Vocations, on at 43 Media Studio. So we hope to hear from you some other time when you come back again and all of that. And
Sure.
make sure you enjoy all the Nigerian meals and delicacies before you go back.
I
Because
will.
I know definitely it will take a lot of time before you can get maybe one eba, one plate of eba in Austria. So thank you very much, and we are very, very grateful to have you around.
Welcome.
So
Thanks.
viewers, we are calling me today for this episode of Vocations. Vocations, it must not just be the vocations to the priest and religious life. Vocation to the marital life. There are times we're going to bring people here who are married, and they're going to talk about their experiences as married people and the challenges, the beauty, and all of those things that enter into that vocation. So sit back and stay tuned on Vocations. I am your host, Reverend Father Anthony Adekwe Audio. Bye.